everyone. Welcome to my Backbend class. We'll just give a couple more minutes for everyone to arrive. And if you are joining me for class, and you have 2 blocks, you can grab 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, a couple big books or a chair could even work, or a couple small boxes. So you can go ahead and get that. And also if you do have a strap, you could gather that, just because it's always good to have a strap and at least 1 block for a regular yoga practice. And we'll also be using the wall, so you can set up at the wall. We won't use it the whole time, but just a little bit. So thanks for joining me, and I'm honored to guide you through this practice today. And know that, with this practice, with any practice, to just move at your own pace and really tune into how the postures feel in your body today. So if there's something that doesn't resonate to you, or certain times of the month I don't go into full expression, honor that, and just practice to what feels good and find that sweet spot. So without strain, without pushing too hard. And we're really going to focus on opening the areas of the body that we need open to backbend, and then strengthening the areas of the body that need to be strengthened for our backbends. So if you're ready, we'll come into a seated position in Virasana. So just sitting back on your heels. Of course, if you have a block, you need a little bit more lift, you can just rest your sit bones to a block between your legs. So as you arrive here, just taking a moment to settle and become fully present here in the space. You can begin with taking some full breaths in and out through your nose. And just allowing this breath to awaken your body. And then we'll work to just lengthen the spine slightly from here. So as you ground both sitting bones down, lengthen from the base of the tailbone all the way up through your crown. So really imagine that the sit bones are grounding, and then you're rebounding up through the crown. So you feel some space through the neck. It's broaden through the collarbones. Let your shoulders just rest where they naturally land. And we'll begin with some more full deep breaths. So as you inhale, fully expand. Rib cage, side ribs, back ribs. Pause at the top, and then exhale fully out the nose. Pause at the end of the exhale and feel a little lift through pelvic floor, and then inhale again. Pausing at the top full, and then exhale. Feel the navel drawing in, little lift through pelvic floor, and then once more, full breath in. Pausing at the top, full, and then exhale. Navel drawing in, pelvic floor lifting, pause, empty, and then release. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. All right, we're going to start with some seated cat-cows, so you can rest your hands just at your thighs. And from here, we're going to take an inhale, draw the chest and belly forward, shoulders back, gentle gaze up. And then exhale, round, slide the palms towards the knees, round your back. Inhale, open the chest, shoulders back, gaze up. And exhale, round. Good, twice more here. And just beginning to awaken your spine. Last one. Good, let's come back at center, and we'll take a few stretches just for the neck. So in your tall seated position, lengthen the spine up, and let's go ahead and take the right ear towards the right shoulder. Just feeling a gentle release through the left side. Good, come back through center and take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Deep breaths into the right side of your neck. And then back through center. All right, let's come to an all fours position, tabletop. Hands about shoulder distance, knees about hip bone distance. Let's move through some cat-cows from here, super slow. So as you inhale, tip your tailbone high, belly drops, chest opens, gaze up. Exhale, tip the tailbone down, around your low back, mid-back, shoulders, tuck the chin, belly button to spine. 3 more. Inhale, find gentle extension, contract the back body. Exhale into flexion, round, squeeze belly button to spine. Good, 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. For 2. Last one here. Good, let's settle back in at neutral. With your toes tucked under, bring your hips to your heels and stretch your arms forward. Forehead's on the mat. Keep your elbows lifted and begin to feel a little opening through the front body, a little activation through the upper back. Let's go ahead and walk the hands over to the left side. So opening through the right side body. Gently tack your right sitting bone back as you lengthen through the right side. Inhale back through center, and then let's walk tented fingers over to the right. Deep breath into your left side. And just taking a scan of the body in these first few moments, back through center. And just taking note of any differences you feel on the right side compared to the left. All right, let's come on back up. And let's take a little wrist stretch. Turn your fingers to face your knees. And then gently from the shoulder girdle, draw the whole torso back. Very gentle. Good, and let's bring the wrists right together. And let's move from side to side. Forward and back. Let's sit back onto the heels and shake it out. And let's come up to the wall. So nice little chest opener here. Take your palms about shoulder distance and then step back from the wall about 2 feet. From here, the arms are going to stay straight, and we're just going to think of sending the tailbone back as the heart comes down towards the wall. Good, belly button lifting in and up, so not fully relaxed here. Try and keep that engagement through the legs, through the belly. Opening up through the armpits and the front of your chest. Good, let's slowly release out of there. Next one, we're gonna come right to the wall. Hopefully you can still see me. And you're gonna have your arm like this. So a half cactus arm with the right. You're gonna step right to the wall and then turn the body towards the left to feel that stretch right into that pec minor, just in front of the armpit towards the chest. Nice full breaths here. Good, gently release out of that, and let's switch sides. So half cactus arm with the left, body, shoulders right to the wall, and then turn the body to the right. Any amount, you don't have to turn too much. Focus on feeling that nice release. Especially if you're doing lots of Chaturangas these days, this is a really nice stretch. All right, back through center. Now let's stand away from the wall, and you can be about 1 foot apart. We're going to come into a standing supported back bend with the wall. So soften the knees slightly. You can hug your outer hips in, zipper the belly in and up, and from here bring your hands to your heart. Good. So we're going to keep everything from the waist down still as it is, and find a little chin tuck. Good. Keeping that, begin to expand and lift your heart. And then from there, take the heads of the arm bones back, squeeze your glutes like crazy, take your arms up, and then reach back to the wall, fingers down. Once you've got contact with the wall, this might be enough for you. You can stay here, you can walk your feet a little bit more forward, press into the wall and send your chest up. Keep that chin tuck, and then maybe walk your hands down the wall a little bit further. Nice strong legs, couple more deep breaths. And then we're going to walk back up, squeeze glutes, bring the hands to heart, and come on up. All right, let's meet at the top of the mat. We'll take a few sun salutations just to warm up the whole body, and then we will move on. So top of the mat in your mountain pose, feet either hip bone distance or big toes touching. Arms rest at your side for mountain pose. And with your next inhale, float your arms up, inhale. Exhale, folding all the way down. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine, gaze forward. Set your palms, step to a high plank. Shift forward on your toes, modified variation, knees down, elbows hug back as you slowly lower your chest. Point your toes, ground your pelvis, and with your inhale, lift your shoulders, lift your heart, gazing at tip of nose. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips to heels, downward facing dog, press up. 3 deep breaths in and out. Good, belly button lifting to spine. And at the end of your exhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. You can step or hop, feet to hands. Halfway lift to lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale to rise, stand all the way up, circle your arms overhead. And exhale, mountain pose. Twice more. Inhale, gaze up, reach up. Exhale, fold, hinging from your hips. Halfway lift, prepare. Set your palms, you can modify, step back, and take full Chaturanga, lowering halfway. Inhale, drag the heart forward, triceps back, squeeze glutes. Exhale, downward facing dog, roll back over your toes. 3 full breaths here. Pressing evenly into your palms. Take 1 more inhale here. And at the end of your exhale, lift your heels, bend knees, step or float, feet to hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, charge legs, stand and reach all the way up. Exhale, arms at side, mountain pose. Once more, inhale, raise the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, lean into big toe mounds as you fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, prepare, long spine. Set your palms, you can step or hop back. Lowering halfway, up dog or cobra, thighs off the mat, shoulders soft. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing deep for 3 full rounds. Take 1 more deep inhale here. And at the end of your exhale, lift your heels, bend knees, step or float, feet to hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise, strong legs, stretch and reach all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Let's bend the knees, sink into your heels, touch the floor, and stretch your arms up for chair pose. Utkatasana. So have your shoulders soft here, and then bring the weight more back into your heels until you feel your glutes activate. And then think of squeezing the inner thighs together. Sit a little lower. Draw belly button to spine and then tip your chest higher. Good, and then try and spread your feet apart into the mat. See if that activates your outer hips even more. Sink a little lower. Take one more breath in. And with your exhale, straighten the legs and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, modified sun B. Step your right leg back, low lunge. Float your arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands connect to the mat. Step to down dog. And step your right leg forward, left knee down, low lunge, circle the arms up. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend knees, chair pose, sink low, take the arms up. Bring the hips back and down, once again holding for a few breaths. Navel to spine. You can wrap the arms more forward, sitting a little deeper. Take one more breath in, and with your exhale, fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, step your left leg back, low lunge, float your arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands connect to the mat, downward facing dog. Right leg or left leg steps forward, right knee down, low lunge, float the arms up. Exhale, step forward and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, fold, regular sun B. Halfway lift, prepare. Step, hop, or float. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, contract low belly, downward facing dog. Pivot your left heel to center, step your right leg between your palms. Virasana A, ground into your feet, stretch and reach up. Exhale, hands connect to the mat. High through low plank. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Right heel pivots, left leg steps forward. Ground into your feet, charge your legs, stretch and reach up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale through up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Find a nice steady soft gaze. Push into your hands. Think of wrapping your outer or elbows together. Draw the belly button in and up. And work to anchor your heels down. Separate your feet hip bone distance. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Lengthen halfway. And with your exhale, fold. You can have a soft bend into the knees here. Let's catch onto our big toes for Padangustasana. Lengthen halfway. Lean into your big toe mounds. Pull upwards on the front of the thighs and fold. Crown heavy, gazing at the tip of your nose. Shoulder blades lift away from the ears. Elbows nice and wide. Lengthen halfway, release your bind. Walk your hands back forward. Take a deep breath in. And with your exhale, lift your heels, step or float forward. Halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, chair pose, sink low, stretch your arms high. 5 breaths here. Squeeze everything together. Sit a little lower. And think of opening your chest here. So let's bend the elbows, shoulder blades squeeze together, heart lifts, hips low. 2 more big breaths. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift. Set your palms, step to a high plank, and let's hold for 5 breaths. Shoulders over wrists, squeeze inner thighs together. Imagine you're trying to drag your toes to your palms. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and for 1, downward facing dog, exhale. Sweep your right leg high to the sky, inhale. And exhale, hug knee to nose, shift forward. Step your right leg between your palms, set your left knee down, low lunge. Float your arms up, Square your hips off here and really try and lengthen the tailbone down slightly. Let's untuck the left foot, circling the arms up, hook your thumbs, and with an exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale back through center, float your hands to the mat, and step back down dog. Take your left leg high to the sky, and with your exhale, step it forward. Right knee comes down, come on up, hook your thumbs the opposite way, hips squared, lengthen the tailbone down, reach up, and exhale, side bend up and over to the left. Ground into your feet, inhale through center. Exhale, hands to mat, step it back, downward facing dog, and then cycle through. Inhale, ripple forward, high plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Drag the heart forward, shoulders roll back, up dog. Exhale, downward facing. Bring your big toes to touch. Lift your heels high, bend your knees, step or float, feet to hands. Halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale to rise, stand all the way up, take your arms overhead, and exhale, mountain pose. All right, let's come back to the wall. You can grab your 2 blocks. And we're gonna take a thigh stretch here, so hopefully you can still see me. So 2 blocks just in front. We're gonna step the right knee back right to the wall. And then using the blocks, we're gonna lift up our chest and step the left leg forward. So we're almost in our low lunge here. And right here might be enough for some of you. So feel free to just stay if you feel that intense stretch. Feel the sensation of trying to almost drag the knee forward to get more of a stretch. Staying here, or let's come on up and take the hands to the left thigh. Good, lengthening through that front. Try and bring the torso back. And then let's take that right arm up towards the sky. Nice deep breaths, steady soft gaze. Good, 10 more seconds. For 3, keep breathing. 2, and for 1. All right, nice and easy release, hands to blocks. You can shift the weight forward, take the right foot off, and then switch. So top of left foot to the wall, take the knee right back. Feel a sensation of pubic bone scooping up, and then picking up the chest, hands to the right thigh. Have a little activation through that left glute. Try and bring the torso back further. And then let's take the left arm high. Good, 10 more seconds here. Know that you can back off if it's too intense, there's too much burning. Good, holding here for 3, 2, and for 1. Slowly release, hands to blocks, shift the weight forward, step the left leg. We're gonna find a forward fold, feet hip bone distance, soft bend into the knees, pick up opposite elbows. Crown nice and long, or nice and heavy. Breathe into your upper back. All right, take your blocks to the side and let's find downward facing dog. Sweep your right leg high to the sky, and with your exhale, step it through. Let's come into a high lunge, feet hip bone distance. From here, hover navel over thigh and bring your hands to your hips. Reach out through that back heel, and then from the core, slowly come up. Circle your arms overhead, and let's sink deep into that lunge. Shoulders relaxed, work to get the torso nice and vertical. 5 more breaths here. Good, front rib points tucking in. Maybe sinking deeper. Good, let's return the hands to the hips, set the left knee down. We'll use the blocks again here. So you can just set them either side of the mat. And take your hands to the blocks. So you can start here. We're gonna move into a little back bend from here. So hips squared, squeeze left glute, front ribs draw in, zipper the navel, take the blocks back, roll the shoulders back, and expand and lift your chest. Keep the chin tucked. Staying here, experiment with shifting the hips more forward or pressing into the front foot to go back. So find a happy medium between the two. You can kind of just shift between and then back. Good, keeping those hips squared, take the blocks back, flip your grip, fingers turn in, pick up the chest, open it up, and then option to lay the head back if that works for you. Keep sinking the hips forward. When you're ready to come out, slowly lead with the chest. Take the arms overhead, hands connect to the mat, and let's step it back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Step your left leg between your hands, high lunge here. Okay, square your hips, lengthen your crown forward and hover the navel over that left leg. Squeeze inner thighs, and let's slowly bring the hands to the hips, heavy through front heel, and then rise up for your high lunge. Lengthen the tailbone down and then sink low, really extending through that right heel to get that nice opening through the front right side. 5 breaths. Front rib points tack in. And then slowly set the right knee down. Let's set up our blocks, either side of the hips. Square the hips off, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders back, and begin to experiment with that little heart opener. So pressing through the front heel to go back, and then shifting forward, keeping the hips squared, and just a couple times forward and back. Good, and then back through center if it's appropriate for you. Step the blocks back and flip the grip. Roll the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Front ribs tack in, press into the ball of the left foot, and go back. Any amount. You can keep walking those blocks back. Eventually laying the head in the sling of the neck. So you should feel no crunchiness in the back of the neck here. Breathing deep. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, lead with your chest, hands to mat, step it back, downward facing. Okay, let's cycle through Vinyasa. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Bring your big toes to touch, lift your heels high. Step or hop feet to hands, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, mountain pose. Step back with the right leg, and let's turn to face the long edge of your mat. Have your stance about the width of your wrist, and turn your right leg out. So externally rotate that right upper leg, so the toe points the top of your mat. Turn the left toes in slightly, and let's find triangle pose. Arms nice and wide. You can have your block to the outside of right ankle here. Think of pulling back on the front heel. So you want to feel the underside of that right leg engaged. Good. Take a deep breath in. And with your exhale, just side bend to the right. Hand on block. From there, shift the hips. So the whole pelvis moves around. Plug that upper leg bone back into the socket. And then twist your torso without moving the hips towards the sky. 5 deep breaths. And with your exhale, gaze down, hold the block, ground into that front foot and slowly rise up. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. You can hold the block, arms wide, so find that activation. Pull the heel back, fire up the hamstring, and with your exhale, side bend to your left. Block on the highest setting if you want. Good, let the pelvis roll around and then spin the chest open. Work to vertically stack shoulders and gaze up, 5 breaths. And with your exhale, gaze down, get steady, hold the block, come on up. Turn the left leg in, reset here, and let's turn the right leg out for side angle. Switch hands, exhale, bend your right knee to square, and get that right thigh parallel to the floor. Good, hug your heels together, left toes are turned into a 45. Stretch your arms wide, take a deep breath in. Exhale, side bend to your right, right hand to block. Sink the hips forward and down, and then sweep the left arm alongside your ear. From there, navel to spine, spin your chest open, and gaze up towards that left palm. 5 deep breaths. And with your exhale, gaze down, hold the block, come on up, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in, switch hands with your block, turn the left leg right out. Deep breath in, exhale, bend the left knee to square. Just take a few moments to find your warrior 2 here, get that left thigh parallel to the floor. 1 more breath in, exhale, side bend to your left, hand to block, sink the hips forward and down, and reach the right arm overhead. Pinky finger rolls down, spin the chest up, and gaze to the palm. 5 breaths. Good, pressing left knee into your inner elbow. Pressing right big toe mound back and away. And reaching arm overhead. And with your exhale, gaze down, ground into your feet, come on up. Turn the left toes in. And then let's pivot to face the long edge of your mat. You can take your block to the outside of the right foot. So feet about hip bone distance, a little bit, and then moving on, you can shorten that distance. Square the hips to the top of your mat for Revolved Triangle. Lift the back heel up and then anchor it to center so it's on an angle. Keep the hips squared and take your left arm high. Exhale, fold about halfway down. And make sure that that right leg stays active. From there, begin to twist, belly button to spine, left hand to the block, right hand to your hip. So keeping this an open twist here, that's why we're using the block, so we can keep that thoracic spine nice and expansive. Squeeze inner thighs together to help lengthen the heart forward, crown forward. Staying here, taking the right arm up, opening the chest. 5 deep breaths. And with your exhale, gaze down, bring the block with you, windmill all the way up, and face now the other side of the mat. Okay, hips squared, and take the block to the outstep of the left foot, and then angle the right heel down. Push into the ball of the left foot, take your right arm up, and with your exhale, folding about halfway down. Holding here, drawing belly button to spine. Squeeze inner thighs together, take your hand to the block. Begin to twist, think of tacking left hip crease back as you open your chest to the right. Eventually gazing up, left palm to sky, 5 deep breaths. Good, exhale, gaze down, you can leave the block there. Windmill open, turn to face the long edge, and let's lengthen the stance slightly. So 5-pointed star here, feet about the width of your wrists. Turn the toes in slightly, So stretch wide with your inhale, pull up on the front of your thighs, and with your exhale, slowly fold for wide-legged fold. Hinging from the hips, and think of still bringing the weight forward. So as we fold, we don't want to see the hips going back. We want to keep that activation within the hamstrings and the front of the thighs. Let's hook the big toes, re-lengthen halfway. Exhale and fold, elbows wide, lifting shoulder blades away from the neck. Crown of the head lengthens down towards the floor, gazing at the tip of your nose. And with your next inhale, lengthen halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. Charge your legs and slowly rise up. Turn to face the long edge of your mat for Parsvottanasana. So once again, feet can be aligned or a little wider hip bone distance. Square the hips and anchor left heel down. Float your arms up, inhale. And with your exhale, folding over the right leg. Bringing a bend into that right knee, bringing forehead towards your knee. And taking 5 breaths here. Eventually moving on, chin towards your shin. Good, strong through the front leg. Press into the back leg and slowly reverse it. Come all the way up. Pivot to switch sides. Hips squared. Deep breath in. And with your exhale, hinging from the hips, folding over left leg. Forehead towards the knee or chin towards your shin. Grounded to your feet, navel to spine, slowly reverse it all the way back up. Step forward and find mountain pose. And let's cycle through. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, prepare. Step, hop, or float. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, take your blocks and set them up at the top of your mat. So we're just going to move through Chaturanga with blocks. This is optional. I like to go mid-setting. That way I can hold them like a parallel bar. See if this works for you. So hands on blocks, downward facing dog. Take an inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lowering halfway, so shoulders don't come down below the elbows. Roll over the tops of the feet, drag the shoulder blades together, squeeze glutes, gazing at the tip of the nose, maybe tipping the chin up and opening the throat. Downward facing dog, roll all the way back over your toes. Hands on blocks, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Shift forward, set your knees down. Blocks shoulder distance, take your elbows to the blocks. Hands behind the nape of the neck. Walk the knees back and gently sink your chest down towards the mat. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Good, and then nice and easy, let's come on back up. And let's take the blocks beside the heels. So coming into Ustrasana camel pose, let's curl the toes under. So first option, we'll do 2 variations. All 10 toes are curled under, hips to the heels. I'm just gonna lengthen my spine and reset here. Taking a few deep breaths. And then as you're ready, let's come on up to stand on the knees. Let's take the knees hip bone distance and let's take 1 block and squeeze it between the inner thighs. Toes curled under, squeeze the block, outer hips hug in, create stability here. Scoop the belly in and up and tuck your chin. Bring your hands to your low back and then just open the chest. Roll the shoulders back, elbows hug together, navel keeps drawing in. And from here, same way like that standing supported back bend, squeeze the block and expand your chest. Keep the chin tucked. You may wish to untuck your toes as you go back. Keep squeezing the block and maybe taking your hands back towards your heels. Rolling the outer shoulders together. Staying here, gently laying the head back in the sling of the neck. Keeping the gaze at the tip of the nose, wherever the head is. Keep squeezing the block. Find your breath. When you're ready to come out of the pose, squeeze the block, hands to hips, squeeze glutes, lead with the chest. Take the block to the side, and let's sit back to our heels and take a moment of rest. Palms to sky, just inhale and exhale to the spine. All right, second set, we're going to use a block on the left side. So let's come on up. Feet hip bone distance. If you want to use the block again between the thighs, feel free. I'm going to move into a variation with a thigh stretch. So find that stability, gather everything in and up, squeeze outer hips in, float your arms forward and up. Exhale, take the elbows wide. Tuck the chin, scoop the belly, front ribs draw together, and slowly expand as you go back. Take your left hand to the block, set it behind, and then begin to reach that right arm back. Palm to ear, send your heart up, use pressure with that left hand to find the back bend in the upper spine. Right hand can hold the head if that's more comfortable. Keep reaching back. And then slowly come up, belly button to spine, leading with chest. Good, we're gonna stay on this side. We're gonna take the right knee back about just 1 centimeter and bend the right knee. So option to hold the top of the foot here, or palm to the tops of the toes, flip the grip, fingers face forward. Stretch your left arm overhead. Square your hip points, squeeze glutes together, and begin to go back any amount here. If the wall's behind you, you could reach for the wall, palm to ear. And when you're ready to come out, same way you got into it, leading with the chest, slowly releasing the foot. Let's come to rest on the heels. Take some deep breaths. And so you're welcome to stick with any of the previous variations for this one. Don't feel like you have to go full expression. Just moving through what's accessible for you. All right, other side. Block to the side of the right side body. Come on up to stand on the knees. Let's take the left knee back about 1 centimeter, but without shifting the hips, so the hip points stay square. From here, let's float the arms forward and up. Oh no, sorry, we'll do that one next. Okay, elbows wide. Squeeze shoulder blades together, tuck your chin, scoop your belly, rib points together, squeeze glutes. Right hand to block, left arm reaches back. Palm to block, lift the heart. Shoulder blades draw together, and then option is shift the gaze up, gazing at tip of nose, or lay it back, hand to head, or in the sling of the neck. When you're ready to come out of the pose, squeeze your glutes, lead with the chest. Take a little moment, reset, and then let's pick up that left ankle. So hug the heel towards the sit bone. Option to flip your grip, fingers face forward, grab the toes and pull them forward. And then moving that knee back so that you're not right on the kneecap. Okay, from here, float the right arm up, hug everything together, tuck the chin, press the hips forward, lift and expand your front body, your chest. Reaching back, palm to ear, left elbow hugs in. And when you're ready to come up on the exhale, slowly release. Sit back to the heels, rest your hands to your thighs, and just take a few rounds of breath. Allow your spine to resettle. And just allow for that release to go. All right, let's find downward facing dog. We have just about 12 minutes left. Let's come on up and take a few pedals with your feet. You might feel a little compression in the low back after those back bends. Know that that's okay. We just need to lengthen it out with a counter pose. So a couple full breaths in and out. And then let's come into the knees, toes tucked under, active child's pose, hips towards your heels. And let's shift forward for saddle pose. Take your knees wide, big toes touch. Sitting to the heels or to your block. Option to take the block behind to lay onto. So from here, we're gonna hinge back and lean back slightly, lifting the hips just enough to lengthen the tailbone forward. Not too much, we still wanna keep that natural curve in there, but just enough so that we don't feel compression. And then slowly squeezing the glutes, lowering down to the elbows, keeping the shins glued down. And then option to go a little farther, perhaps laying the upper back onto your block. If you have two, you could set one underneath the head. That's nice. Take your arms wide to the side. Breathe into the fronts of your thighs. And then as you're ready, a couple more breaths here. We'll release and come out of the pose the exact same way we got into it. So nice and slow, squeezing the glutes. You take the elbows underneath the shoulders. And with an exhale, press up. Walk the hands forward, come to hands and knees. And slide your blocks off to the side for now. And just lift the right leg back, hold it in space. Navel to spine, drawing pubic bone to bottom ribs. And then switch. And then switch. Good, all right. From here, let's come to a seated position. I'm gonna face you guys so you can see. So we're gonna lift our hips and take them over to the right, bringing the ankles to the left side. And then from here, I'm gonna lift the top of the left foot and just nuzzle it in the arch of my right foot. The pelvis is gonna be a bit shifted here. That's okay. So moving into a twist, lengthen the spine with an inhale. And as we exhale, begin to twist to the right. So keeping this nice and open here, as you can see the chest stays more open as we twist, gazing up towards the sky. Some of you could take a half bind. Right hand reaches towards left hip crease. Good, one more big breath in, lengthening up through the crown. Exhale, belly button to spine. And then slowly release. Okay, shifting back through center and then taking your hips to the left. Let's lay the top of the right foot in the left arch. My right sitting bone is lifted away from the floor, just so you know if you feel a little crooked here, that's normal. We want that crookedness to allow for the open twist. So as you can see, when that happens, we can get that twist higher up the thoracic spine. Okay, deep breath in to lengthen. Exhale, begin to twist to your left, belly button to spine, front ribs draw in. Left hand walks behind, shifting the gaze up, chin slightly up. And don't worry if it feels a little different on this side. Taking one more big breath in. And full exhale, navel to spine. And then slowly coming back through center. All right, let's reset it neutral. And then we'll come to lie down on our backs. And for our final back bend, we'll move into Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing wheel pose. So we are going to use the wall if you're comfortable with trying something new on virtual land, which is a whole thing in itself. So move with caution. So we're going to take the blocks shoulder distance and press them right against the wall. And essentially using blocks against the wall for your upward facing wheel pose just takes the range of extension at the wrist. It just lessens it a bit and then allows for a little bit less extension needed in the low back and as well as the thoracic spine. So if you're comfortable, let's come to lie down. We'll do some bridge poses first just to get nice and warmed up. So laying down on your back, feet hip bone distance and parallel. Let's tuck the shoulder blades under slightly just so that the backs of the shoulders are rooted, the backs of the upper arms are rooted. And let's come into robot arms. From here, ground into the balls of your feet. Take a deep breath in. And with your exhale, keeping the little arch in your low back, so a neutral pelvis, neutral spine, begin to lift the hips any amount. So just creating stability here first, keeping the knees hip bone distance. If they're flaring out, gently gather them together, and then work to bring the chest towards your chin. Option is stay here. You can roll one shoulder under and then the other, lacing your hands for a bind. Ground through the backs of the shoulders and lift the hips higher. Good, keep squeezing your glutes. Try and tack those front ribs down and engage the core. Don't turn the head in any of these back bends, please. Keep gazing straight up. And then slowly with your exhale, take one shoulder and the other. Glide your hips back down. Take the feet a little wider and let your knees fall together. Big breath in and out. Full exhale. All right, hands on blocks. So we're gonna make sure we're in the right position. Slide a little bit closer to the walls so that the blocks are about, like the crown of my head is almost flush with the side of the block farther away from the wall. So we're going to take our hand, and feel free to watch me first and then come up and do it. So we're going to take the heel of the hand to the block. It's not going to get there until we push up. So just kind of set it there, but know that that's where we're going. We're going to ground into our feet, feet hip bone distance. And with an inhale, puff up the chest. And with an exhale, we're going to get the palms on the blocks and press the chest up. Chest towards the wall, head hangs heavy. Work to straighten the arms all the way. Squeeze your glutes. Ground into the big toes and gaze at the wall. Good. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly using the strength of your arms, you're just going to slowly release all the way. So the upper back lands. And take a sigh. Let the knees fall together and just allow that energy that just was moved in these invigorating back bends to just kind of feel into it and feel what you feel. So it's a nice way just to modify your Urdhva D. Making it a little bit more accessible and not as much compression on the low back, not as much opening in the shoulders needed for that one. So feel free to take a second round. If you're ready to come into full Dhanurasana, we'll move away from the wall. And we'll tuck the shoulder blades under. And with the arms at your side, we're going to turn the palms to face up. We're going to raise the arms overhead. And then we're going to bend the elbow. And then we're going to flip at the wrist. So palms to sky, just like you're holding those blocks, palms down. Take a deep breath in, puff up your chest. Ground into the balls of the feet and slowly lifting as you're ready. Work to draw the chest through the arms. Try and get all 10 pads of the fingers pressing down, and then draw those front ribs down. Head nice and heavy, and let's hold for 5 breaths. And when you're ready to release, tuck the chin, slow and controlled lower, like a upside down push-up, lowering to the upper back and then the hips, and then releasing the arms, letting the knees fall together. Deep breath in and out. Let's hug one knee in towards the chest. Let's take a little rock and roll on the spine. So we'll come all the way through, step or hop back, cycle through Vinyasa, up dog or cobra just to seal it all in. Exhale, down dog. Deep breath in here. Step or hop through. And let's come to lie all the way down. Take your feet hip bone distance. And then hold the outer edge of the feet, arms to the inside for happy baby. You can take a little roll side to side on the low back. You can stay there a little bit longer. And then slowly extending your legs long. Let's take some circles with the wrists, full range. And then other direction. And then open and close fireworks. If you wanted to come into a supported bridge, if you have a block, you could. I think that this is going to cut us off. So yeah, you could rest right into Shavasana if you're done, or take a supported bridge, block underneath the hips. That also feels nice after deep back bends, just to reset the pelvis. So thanks so much for joining me, and feel free to message me if you have any questions. Thanks, and have an awesome rest of your day. Namaste.